Outback truckers. All hell breaks loose for Turbo.
Spotlight's broken up. I'm pissed at that.
As his freight
That's bird welding.
and his truck take a hiding.
It will destroy human and machine.
Christian Reynolds racks up massive mileage
We've done about 7,500 to get to here.
with a massive load.
That's the joy of road trains.
And Greg and Sonia Wise are under the weather
He's got food poisoning.
and under pressure.
Are we going to make an oath?
I don't know.
In the sweltering tropics of northeastern Australia,
It is bone-shattering, truck-smashing road.
things are about to get serious for long-haul trucker Turbo. This one-man bandwagon likes a laugh and loves his truck.
Hell yeah, that's what I like.
But where he's heading is no joke.
It will absolutely destroy human and machine.
The dirt roads of the remote Cape York Peninsula are bold, barren, and brutal.
Because here, on dirt, you've literally gone to hell on earth.
This is the real world. This is real trucking.
The 47-year-old's been hired to deliver 13 tonnes of vehicles to the mining port of Weipa at the very tip of Australia's far north. They're needed on site in one piece in 2 days' time. For the town of Gladstone, Queensland, Turbo faces a gruelling 1,900-kilometre slog through the wild lands of Cape York. It's as tough a job as they come. But with a business to run, Turbo can't afford to pick and choose where he takes his truck.
Do about 1,400 kilometres of dirt driving. That's a lot of dirt for a major highway.
With his load and his laundry secure,
The only way to dry your washing.
Turbo's ready to roll. But as he's about to leave, he spots a problem.
That's the header tank for the radiator.
The header tank's leaking precious coolant. It's a major warning sign.
If that blows, I lose all the water and blow a motor.
Less than 3 months ago, Turbo's previous truck blew up. He's had to dig deep to lay out $90,000 on a replacement rig. If this one blows, it could sink his business.
The hotter it gets, the more that can crack and perish, and I can't get another one. This has to be ordered from 4,000 kilometres away.
Waiting for a replacement would cost Turbo this job.
Better hope it don't blow.
He's got no choice but to tough it out and hit the road. With 1,900 kilometres of hot, bone-shaking road ahead, the last thing Turbo needs is mechanical headaches.
That header tank is always going to play on my mind until I replace it.
He'll have to go steady or risk losing his livelihood.
I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to be stupid about it.
Go too slow and he risks missing his deadline. On a cold winter morning in Melbourne, Victoria,
He's done nothing. This thing here should have come off.
for Christian Reynolds, it's a bad start to a big job.
Where's the adapter?
He's loading a heavy-duty construction crane. But the crane isn't ready.
Neither of these yellow ones are ready to go. These bits of platforms and that, they need to come off. We get a bit emotional when people say they're going to do things and they don't do them. That gets me emotional.
Christian's an outback expert from Darwin in Australia's rugged north, known as the Top End. His stomping grounds are the dirt tracks and river crossings of the Northern Territory's remote wilderness.
Yeah, the Territory's just a good place all round. Everyone should go there at least once.
But in this game, trucking survival means going where the work is, even if that's on the other side of the continent. Christian's been hired to haul this massive $1.2 million crane from the deep south to the far north. It's a two-man job. Joining him is second trucker Ned Alladin. From Melbourne, they're heading all the way back up to Darwin. In all, the boys will rack up over 10,000 kilometres on the massive round trip. That's enough distance to get from London to Hong Kong. In the big city, the top-end truckers are way outside their comfort zone.
I'd much rather be doing transport into remote areas than into major cities. It's pretty ordinary when you're going into places that you've never been to before. You've got no idea where you're going.
I'm over this cold weather though. Just want to go home.
After a colossal 5,000 kilometre commute to Melbourne, the plan was to load up the 130-tonne crane and head north quickly.
This is it, or you don't know?
Only problem? There's hundreds of crane parts in the yard, and no one's sure which is which.
It's like a big jigsaw puzzle.
Having come this far, Christian can't afford to fail.
Where's the adapter? We still haven't found that.
The crane must be in Darwin in 6 days' time. Every day Christian's late will set him back thousands of dollars in running costs. To make matters worse, a giant mobile crane has arrived to lift the freight onto Christian and Ned's trucks. With it sat idle, the only thing rising is Christian's blood pressure.
Oh, it would be a lot better if this crane was ready to go. That was the bloke that sold this crane, eh? He's about 45 minutes away.
All he can do is wait for the seller to arrive and sort out the mess.
Oh, it's just a pain. We should have 2 trailers loaded by now and we just haven't.
He still has the length of a continent to travel, but right now, Christian's stuck on the starting line. At a truck wash in Perth, Western Australia,
Yeah, that's backwards. Another one's frontwards.
Sonia and Greg Wise are juggling 2 high-stress jobs.
Oh, no. No. No, wait till Pop comes.
Babysitting their grandkids and getting their truck ready for a cross-country run.
I love to clean the truck. I love cleaning. Love it. Eat, breathe and sleep it, we do.
The driving duo run their own family transport firm with a fleet of 10 trucks.
I like the older style trucks, so yeah, that's all I can afford.
After 3 decades married to the road and each other, they know how tough trucking life can be.
When you got your own business, it's hard. And Greg's always at work, he's never home.
As well as taking care of the family business, Sonia has the business of family to take care of.
Eat up your brekkie quick, you want some toast?
For their 6 kids
Just wait, Daddy's got to put down, he's got to go to work. You don't have to go to work.
and 5 grandkids, Greg and Sonia have put everything into trucking.
We just want to build our business so they've all got something when we snuff it. That's our main aim in life. I run this show, they do what Mummy says.
To keep their business in the black, Sonia and Greg have a packed schedule.
Yeah, preparing for a trip to Seduna and back for a friend of mine.
Over the weekend, they're heading from Perth on a near 4,000 kilometre round trip to a truck stop outside Seduna, South Australia. Once there, Greg and Sonia will swap trailers with another trucker and hightail it back to Perth. The last-minute job's on an ultra-tight deadline. Their rig is booked on another run in just 3 days' time. If it's not back by then, Greg and Sonia could lose out on business worth thousands of dollars.
Are we ready, hon?
Off we go. Come on.
It's late into Friday evening by the time they hit the road. First, they need to pick up a second trailer of freight to complete their double road train.
Just a bit busy today. He's just going to hook her up.
On a time-critical run, it's vital Greg and Sonia get moving quickly. But something's wrong.
Hey!
The trailer won't hook up.
Should go in there.
A locking catch on the trailer's turntable won't close.
Oh, what's wrong with it?
With no time to spare and almost 4,000 kilometres ahead, it's a hitch that could stitch up the whole trip. On the highway to hell in Cape York,
It's that rough that we're literally up and down like that.
Turbo's hitting the dirt. Literally. His tyres are smashing into millions of corrugations. Bumps in the road that grow worse every time a vehicle passes over them. With his truck already leaking precious coolant, Turbo must back off.
If I go flat out, all it's going to do is just absolutely destroy the truck. It's going to destroy me. Definitely do some major damage to the vehicle on the back. Probably even lose one.
On the bone-dry track, there's another potentially lethal danger.
The issue that you've got is when we got these things coming.
Powdery dirt, or bull dust, means Turbo can't see what's coming his way.
We basically drive blind.
In the last 8 years, 12 people have died attempting to ride this road. With massive trucks reaching closing speeds of 150 kilometres an hour, by the time Turbo spots trouble, it could be too late.
Try not to do any damage myself, but because it's the dirt road, it's going to flick rocks up everywhere.
Flying rocks could also mean serious damage for Turbo's $260,000 freight.
Smash windscreens. It's not fun.
It's not long before Turbo hears a problem.
It's either I've popped the tyre or I've broken the windscreen.
But before he can pull up and check, there's more trouble.
Looks like they're doing roadworks up here somewhere.
The narrow detour
Running right on the edge of the trees.
means Turbo can't stop. With every metre, the road could be wreaking even more havoc on his truck. In Melbourne, Christian Reynolds has company.
Are they going? Yeah. So they should have been stacked inside them already.
Thankfully, it's the crane seller he's been waiting for.
You want to walk one of those mast sections up?
Finally, Christian and second driver Ned can begin loading the $1.2 million crane. Christian's plan is to form 2 triple-trailer road trains and haul all 26 pieces 5,000 kilometres to Darwin. Only trouble is, trucks that big aren't allowed in 2 of the 3 states he has to cross.
Yeah, no road trains in Victoria, so you can only come to the border. And then New South Wales has adversity to road trains as well.
To get the crane through Victoria, they'll have to ferry their trailers across the state border, one at a time. It's a monotonous task called a dog run.
Take 2 over there and leave them there and bring another 2 back.
Each 6-hour round trip must be done 6 times. For top-end truckers like Chris and Ned, it's a long way from the freedom they love back home.
The NT, you can pull triples anywhere you want to go. I could go into my big spiel about governments, but I won't bother.
With time ticking by, the country boys need to get out of the big city. But that's easier said than done.
Because roadworks and the traffic's slow. There's no point trying to change stuff you've got no control over. You've just got to grin and bear it.
It's almost nightfall before Christian and Ned reach the border. And it's just the first leg of the marathon dog run process.
We're going to Melbourne for the second time today, yeah.
For the next 36 hours, it's back and forth, one trailer at a time. Finally, it's time to assemble their 2 triple road trains. By the time the dog runs are done, the job's covered enough distance to cross the Atlantic Ocean twice.
And we've done about 7,500 to get to here and all the trailers back here. But that's the joy of road trains.
Tomorrow, the long trip home can begin. Outside Perth,
I'll try again.
Greg and Sonia Wise are struggling to attach a temperamental trailer.
The jaws should snap together and hold it, and it's not doing that.
They have 1,900 kilometres to cover in 2 days. Every minute lost here puts a crucial freight swap over in jeopardy.
Every little time you have a hiccup, it takes a bit of time off the driving.
Greg's been at it for an hour, but the locking catch still won't shut. If he can't fix it, the whole job will be at risk. The simple problem is becoming a crisis.
It's right now.
Finally, the trailer's secure.
Got a bit crooked in the guts of the turntable, that's all. It's all good.
At last, Greg and Sonia can get underway. As a 2-up team, they can drive through the night. Next morning, they're battling to make up lost time, but nature's dealing them a new blow.
Oh, the headwind. Yeah.
The truck's ploughing straight into a roaring easterly wind. The drag on their freight, 48 tonnes of metal frames, is forcing their engine to work overtime, draining their bank balance.
Right, headwind means a lot in fuel, usage.
The fuel bill on this trip should be around $2,200, but in these conditions, it could double.
4,000 kilometres is a lot of money.
But Greg and Sonia can't afford to back off, miss this deadline, and they risk losing out on thousands more dollars in other jobs. In North Queensland,
Wishing that smooth out.
Turbo's trapped on a narrow detour. He urgently needs to pull up and check for trouble on his 37-metre truck. Finally, it's safe to stop and take a look. Once the bull dust settles, behind the cab, there's a worrying sight.
Straps have come off.
2 straps on a $60,000 car have been shaken loose by the pounding. If Turbo had gone much further, he could have lost the vehicle.
It's been moving that much.
With 300 kilometres of dirt still to come, the road is getting worse.
I'm doing about 12k an hour.
His whole rig's taking a beating. A constant worry is Turbo's leaking radiator tank. If it cracks, his engine will cook.
If I don't basically come to a crawl, I will literally shatter my truck to pieces.
After 10 hours of torture, finally, Turbo's reached his overnight camp. Before he can relax, he wants to check his freight. On the rear vehicle,
Hey, you mother...
there's trouble. The violence of the road has shaken off its tailgate.
That's bird shit welding.
Amazingly, it's clung on underneath the vehicle. Damaged goods aren't good for Turbo's business. But with another punishing day on the dirt tomorrow, he'll have to tough it out and hope his freight can make it in one piece. Top-end truckers Christian and Ned are finally on the open road and heading to the tropical north.
3 fathers. Darwin, here we come.
If they're to make their deadline, they have to cover more than 3,200 kilometres in just 3 days. But just over the Queensland border, there's a problem. Ned's truck is losing air pressure.
Got no air, can't go.
The cause is a faulty air dryer.
I think that air dryer's, I think the rest is on its way.
It's causing an oil leak.
If you run them out of oil, it doesn't do much good at all.
But if it gets any worse, Ned could lose his air compressor, crippling his whole rig.
Being on the weekend, probably won't get one till Monday, so could lose us a couple of days.
Christian can't afford to lose 2 days. To fix the problem, he wants to disable the air dryer by cutting an electrical wire.
So which one of these is it?
Only problem, which one to cut?
There's that little one.
Yeah, well, there's 2 little ones.
Choose the wrong wire and he could overload the compressor,
Just works all the time.
disabling Ned's truck.
So which one's which? Has it got a bit of red tape on it? Is it that one?
The right one.
That one.
No, the other one.
Oh, so that's the one with red on it.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're pretty confident we got the right one? That one? Yeah, righto.
The fate of their mammoth mission rests on this one cut. On the vast expanse of the Nullarbor Plain, an exhausted Greg has turned in for the day, and Sonia has taken over for the night shift.
He likes the daytime, I like the nighttime.
This 2-up team have been sharing the load since they met 30 years ago.
I think we were 19. He's had his dad's farm truck, so he was carting a bit of grain, and I was a good old roadhouse girl. Been together ever since, had beautiful, beautiful family, and he's the funniest bastard I've ever met in my life. Had some funny times and some wild times. Now we're just old and tired.
Suddenly, Sonia's on full alert.
Blowing a bit of smoke. One of the guys coming the other way said she was chuffing a bit.
Smoke's billowing out beneath the truck. A warning sign there could be serious trouble with the engine.
Just a bit of a worry when you're so far out of town.
They're deep into the Nullarbor, one of the most barren places in Australia. It's a dangerous place to break down.
We don't want anything to happen. So we're just going to sit on 90 and see how the old girl goes.
So which one's which?
Christian Reynolds must defuse a major mechanical problem. But which wire should he cut?
That one.
No, the other one.
The left.
Get it wrong, and his vast continental run could blow up in his face.
Let's fix it.
While Christian's handiwork has saved the day, he and Ned still have 3,000 kilometres to go. longer than the River Ganges. They'll have to hope the emergency fix holds. Finally, there's a welcoming sight.
So we're about to cross out of Queensland into the Northern Territory.
Home's a day and a half away.
Welcome to the Northern Territory, God's own country. You feel better already, don't you, just because you're in the NT?
Without warning, Christian's engine's gone dead.
It's just stopped.
He needs to get off the road fast.
Of course, there's a parking bay right here.
There's no sign of life. Christian suspects it could be a battery problem.
But it has done this before. Shut down for no real apparent reason.
But unlike before, the truck won't start.
I don't know.
Christian stranded,
I do not know.
1,400 kilometres from Darwin, surrounded by a barren, boundless void. If he can't get his truck moving, getting home could be the least of his problems. Greg and Sonia are still nursing their wounded truck across the Nullarbor Plain.
Slowly getting worse, I think.
If their engine dies now, they too will be stuck in a vast wilderness. At long last,
Vienna, 5K.
Well, we made it, though.
they've arrived at their halfway point, where they'll swap trailers with another truck. But something's missing. The other truck.
Yeah, the truck coming the other way has been delayed. I don't know what's happened, but
On this job, a delay gives Greg and Sonia a major headache.
Tuesday back in Perth is our biggest day, so we really need this truck back in Perth.
Lost time could cost the family business money and reputation. They're desperate to get moving,
I tried to text him, but he didn't answer.
but all they can do is wait
So we've still got 2,000 Ks.
and take on some much-needed fuel.
We will have to hurry up.
Dusk,
waiting.
and there's still no sign of the other truck.
Waiting. Now what?
4 hours have gone by.
Yeah.
Lose any more time, and there'll be no way they can make it home for the next job. Finally,
Hey mate, how you going? How'd you go?
the other drivers made it. Now it's all hands to the pumps to swap trailers and hit the road. They've lost 5 hours. Under even more pressure, Greg and Sonia need to claw them back. By morning, they're pushing hard, but their engine worries are getting worse.
We can only get about 85 kilometres an hour.
It's barely a year old, but the engine's struggling and blowing out even more smoke. Despite their deadline, Greg must stop to check what's wrong.
There's oil dripping out of its boot now.
Ahead is 1,100 kilometres of arid Nullarbor Plain. It's no place to take an ailing truck.
Should be blowing anything out the bottom. It's going to cost me another 30 grand or 25 grand to put another engine in it.
With their business on the line, All Greg and Sonia can do is push on.
Are we going to make an oath?
I don't know. It's not good.
In Cape York, Turbo's preparing to face a final barrage of dirt before he reaches his offload point. He's under pressure to make it with his freight intact. But with pressure comes mistakes.
I'm an idiot. I hung the towel out to dry last night. Didn't even think about it. That could be major catastrophe, that. Because it's blocking the airflow. But I literally could have cooked the engine.
The relentless strain is starting to tell.
Getting your load and your rig there in one piece and back, it really tests the driver.
But Turbo must stay sharp for the next challenge. A herd of wandering Brahman cattle. Turbo's $90,000 rig is barely worn in. Hitting a 600-kilo animal could wreck it. On their long run home to Perth,
Soldier on, hun, soldier on.
Greg and Sonia's engine worries have been replaced by something even more pressing.
You want me to drive?
Greg's crook.
He's got food poison.
Pain in the go.
Poor darling. You have to unload in probably more places than you would want to unload in, don't you?
Yeah.
Deadline or no deadline, Greg needs to make an unscheduled drop-off. Sonia will have to step up and keep the truck going.
Having a rest for a minute, try and get a bit better. As long as the truck keeps going, I'll be right.
But suddenly,
I don't know what we ate, but it's gone right through the pair of us.
Sonia needs to go too.
So we're just going to have a luxurious little toilet break up here somewhere in a parking bay if we can find one.
But in the middle of the Outback, parking bays and bathrooms are few and far between.
There's a bit of concentration going on here, I can tell you. Not many places we can park, though. Doesn't look good. It's going to be touch and go.
Something over here, you know, slow down.
Best we don't talk. No, I just got to concentrate. I hear something up here, look.
Put it in the hole.
There's a green sign up here.
Slow down and stop.
Yeah, up there, look.
Now, watch what you're doing though. You haven't got much room to put it in there.
In?
Put it in there before I shit myself.
We're in.
Yeah, we'll put your foot on the brake. I can't get to that.
Now,
What a circuit.
it's a frantic rush into the bush.
Find me phones, quick.
Yeah.
Oh, God, no.
Christian Reynolds is desperately trying to restart his stricken truck.
I do not know.
To boost his batteries, he's hotwired a backup generator. If the extra power can't bring it back to life, he could be stuck 1,400 kilometres from home in the middle of nowhere. His engine's back. But there's still electrical trouble.
No power up here again. I don't know why.
Christian's radio's dead.
One of the great mysteries of trucks. Press on.
The stops cost precious time. To get back on schedule, Chris and Ned will have to drive into the night. By dawn, the radio is working. But
This truck is still shutting down occasionally. No apparent reason.
The power troubles are a constant concern. But ahead, there's an even bigger problem. A 4-trailer road train. To get by the slow-moving 53-metre monster, Christian will need to spend up to a minute on the wrong side of the road and keep in constant contact with the other truck.
Oh, this thing's just shut down occasionally for sort of no apparent reason, eh? Okay.
If his radio or his engine dies, both drivers could be in serious danger.
Yeah, you're right, see we're coming.
As he pulls out, he's trusting his life to his truck.
You really love trucks, don't you?
Yeah, marvellous, aren't they?
For Christian, it's a relief to finally be in the clear and heading home. The last 6 days have been a monumental mission. Christian and Ned have travelled the length of the continent twice, dealing with the dog runs and battling breakdowns. Exhausted, this top-end team have finally made it back to their beloved Darwin.
We're home. Finally.
After a tough, challenging run, there's one last simple task. Park up the trucks in Christian's yard. Or that was the plan. Ned's last trailer has collided with a gate post.
Sake.
He's stuck fast.
No! Shabby, Ned.
After 10,000 punishing kilometres, it's a low blow for the boys. But they must unhook for one final 30-metre dog run.
A momentary lapse of judgment. Part of life. I think you need to have a good sense of humour if you have got trucks.
Finally, the job's done. And these boys from the big country can breathe easy.
Feels good to be home. We're here, everything's upright. The load's in good a condition as what it was when it left Melbourne. So I think that's all pretty well done.
"700 kilometres out of Perth, Greg and Sonia Wise have pulled up again. But this time, it's their sick engine that's suffering.
Oh, they're just pissing oil out the bottom, mate, out the breather. $30,000 down the tubes, eh? Not even 12 months
Not even
old.
12 months old.
In the last 6 hours, the year-old engine's burned through 10 litres of oil.
I don't know what to do. Still have to keep checking the oil, mate. Putting oil in it all the way home. I hope it'll make it, eh?
To get home, they'll need every last kilometre the dying motor can give.
Check the oil up here somewhere. Make sure it's not blowing all the oil out.
Or they'll end their journey marooned in the middle of nowhere. It's been a painful trip for Wise Haulage, in more ways than one. Faced with a huge repair bill, Greg and Sonia are counting the cost of the arduous run.
Like it's gone from like a bit of a profit to 20 grand off now. So.
You just get a kick in the guts and you think, what the hell would you even want to be doing this for? But it's just, it is a passion.
It's a nail-biting ride to the finish. But at last, civilization is in sight.
Nearly made it. Yeah, it's blowing up.
It's been a long, hard road.
We did all right, though. We did all right.
They've faced trailer failure, constant delays,
Waiting.
and an engine on its last legs. But finally, this trucking team are home.
Done.
Thank God for that.
Made it.
You hard up.
Turbo's hard on the brakes to avoid hitting 600 kilos of wandering cattle. While he's missed the bovine jaywalker,
Cattle!
Turbo suspects there's more damage to his truck.
$3,000 light.
It's another casualty of the bone-shaking road. For Turbo, it's the last straw.
Spotlight's broken off. $1,000 light. It's gone missing. I'm pissed at that. I can't just buy one. I've got to buy a set. So that's $2,000 for a set.
It's a big chunk of Turbo's profit gone.
I worked my ass off to get nice things, and this happens.
He may have lost one battle, but the war's almost over. Turbo's destination, Weeper, is in sight. On this highway through hell, Turbo slugged it out with corrugations,
I'm wishing that smooth out.
stressed over his truck,
That header tank is always going to play on my mind.
and risked his life
We basically drive blind.
to survive one of Australia's meanest strips of dirt. Now, it's time to deliver.
This is going to be good. That's now another customer happy. It's another delivery well done. Timeline, distance, the whole lot. She ran like a dream, which is good. So that's another happy ending for this new girl.
But while one job's done, it's only half the fight for Turbo. He has no return load to cover his $2,000 fuel bill home.
Those wheels turn, they make money. Every time that wheel doesn't turn, it costs a couple of $1,000.
He must find freight out of Weeper, or he'll lose time and money.
It's going to cost a fortune to run home empty.
If he can't, everything he's been through will have been for nothing.